Hello, this is Pretty Conspiracy, and my name is Kay. And I want to talk a little bit about the Kobe Bryant Memorial Tribute, the public memorial that took place at the Staples Arena. Um, did you guys see it? I watched it. I watched it while I was at work. I live streamed it. Even though I was at work, I was still live streaming it. And I watched the whole thing. It started a little bit later than expected. I guess they were just waiting for all the guests to arrive. This was a very interesting memorial. First of all, the most genuine, touching part of the memorial for me was Michael Jordan. To me, when he spoke, it made me tear up. I cried, actually, because I feel like Michael Jordan was generally touched. And I feel like every word he was saying was genuine. And that was genuine, raw emotion from him. And, we hadn't seen him speak publicly since Kobe's passing. He had released a statement the day of his passing, but he had not spoken publicly. And I think he had it just all come out, having to speak in front of all of these people. And I don't think people realize they had a close relationship. Michael Jordan doesn't really speak a lot. He doesn't really do a lot of interviews. So you don't really know what's going on with him or how he feels about certain people. It's always speculation. So that was the most touching part for me. Seeing him cry, seeing him, it generally touched me, and I cried when I saw that, his speech. Okay, and his wife, Vanessa Bryant, was very, very sad to hear her. I can't even imagine, right, what she's going through. But there's a few things about this ceremony I want to touch on. Was this a ritual ceremony? To me, it seemed to be. Now, remember last year, not even a year ago, Nipsey Hussle had his memorial service at the Staples Arena. And it was kind of the same kind of thing, even though Kobe Bryant's a much bigger name than Nipsey Hussle. Because I had never heard of Nipsey Hussle before his death, his so-called death, because I'm not sure if he's actually dead or not. Kobe Bryant. Okay, so at this memorial service, you had two high-ranking witches, which were Beyonce and Alicia Keys. Now, people say high-ranking witches. What do you mean? It is almost, it's known, I guess, or it's been talked about, that these women are heavily into the dark arts, and they practice some form of witchcraft, or they're in some type of occult. And these are supposedly two of the highest ranking witches. And you also had J-Lo out there, who I think is also one of the high ranking witches. But they all dabble in the dark arts. Let's call it what it is, right? And my senses, and then you had a lot of legendary NBA players out there. And Phil Jackson was out there. some of the former Lakers and the legendary Lakers were out there, as well as some of the newer Lakers. And you had Kyle Kuzma with his blonde hair looking, like he was under some heavy mind control. He had the dark glasses on at first, then he took it off. He looked quite weird. And the thing about Kyle Kuzma is I actually watched him throughout college and knew as soon as he got picked by the Lakers, he was going to change. And I was like, oh my God, I hope he doesn't go to LA. He went to LA and he started to deal with one of the Kardashians or the Kendall Jenner. Him and what was the other kid's name? It'll come to me. The one that plays for used to play for Washington. Can't think of his name. Hold on. His name is Kelly. His first name is Kelly, isn't it? Wait. Kelly. I can't think of his. Maybe another kid. He used to play for Kansas. Kelly. It's on the tip of my tongue. Anyways, Kelly. What's his name? And Kyle Kuzma. They're like. They were both messing around with Kendall Jenner, I guess, along with Ben Simmons. It's just really, really messy. But that's what happens in LA. And so he was looking out. Kyle Kuzma is out there looking, lost and confused and under mind control. And Steph Curry is sitting out there in the audience as well. And I don't know, for some reason Steph Curry always looks like he's under heavy mind control. Like he looks so zoned out most of the time, like he's not even there. So maybe that's him, being bored or just being in his head. But Steph Curry looks like he is just not there most of the time. Even when I notice he sits on the bench during the games, the Golden State Warriors games, he just looks really zoned out. Maybe there's some mind control going on, some MK Ultra going on there. But he was out there amongst everybody else was out there. The big names, and so, but generally, I think Michael Jordan had the best speech and the most genuine speech, along with his wife Vanessa Bryant. But one thing about Vanessa Bryant is possibly she was also in the dark arts with Kobe, I believe, and she probably also practiced witchcraft, and I think they probably all did it together. You know what I mean? Now, the reason I think this was a ritual ceremony is because, like I said, 2 high-ranking witches sung at his funeral, Beyonce and Alicia Keys. It took place in the same, of course, it was going to take place in Staples Center, but you wonder why Nipsey Hussle memorial service took place at Staples Arena when the only other person I think I can recall that took place at the Staples Arena or the Staples Center was Michael Jackson. And Nipsey Hussle Nipsey Hussle was no Michael Jackson. He was not even on the same level. So it's a lot going on there. Then it is said that Vanessa Bryant filed a lawsuit against the helicopter company for a wrongful death lawsuit when she filed it the day of the ceremony of the memorial service. And so this is going to drag. This is going to be messy. And it's going to play out in the courts. And a lot is going to come out. Now, the thing about this particular helicopter pilot is that he, like the pilot that piloted the plane that killed Aaliyah back in 2001, he was also reprimanded, not for drugs, but for he was riding the plane, the plane was ill-equipped to be flown, the helicopter he was riding. So he had been put on some type of probation, and I don't know if Kobe knew that. This was back in 2015 about his pilot, because from what I heard, Kobe always used his pilot, so he entrusted his pilot. So, and that's gonna be messy. So, if you thought that it was gonna be like, okay, the memorial service is over, now everything can go back to normal. Nope. There's a lawsuit involved, and I think there probably will be several more lawsuits, because I'm pretty sure that each of the family members of the other victims on the helicopter are probably going to follow that and also file suit against the helicopter company as well. So there are probably going to be several lawsuits, and then we're find out maybe why this helicopter crashed, because there's really no there's just no evidence of why it crashed. That's still a mystery, and there's an ongoing investigation on that. It is going to get really messy, and like I said, Kobe's life is just going to be analyzed over and over again. There's a news story about who was it? It was Charles Barkley said that Kobe Bryant's rape at the rape charge that he had and his basketball legacy will always be a part of his legacy. That rape charge will always be a part of his legacy, and he was no hero. So some people were in their feelings because, like, how dare you say that about Kobe? Knowing Charles Barkley's history, and all the stuff he done got into. But I think in all of these athletes have gotten into something. They all hung around with each other. I'm sure they all did some devious shit, very devious stuff that we don't even know about. And, they all run pretty much with the same crowd. They all know kind of what the other one is doing. And so they're hip to it. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see. But overall, I think it was a nice memorial service. Like I said, Michael Jordan to me was the most genuine one to speak. He touched me the most, because I actually cried when he was speaking. But there's still a lot of aspects to this, Kobe's life that we will probably never know about, or we may hear about later on down the line. And his wife seems to be like she's going to be out there in the spotlight. You're going to see her talking a lot more. She's going to be doing a lot more interviews because we never heard from her. She never spoke, did interviews or anything while Kobe was alive. But you're going to see her a lot more. A lot more. You're going to hear from her a lot more. I guarantee you that. With that being said, let me know what you thought of the memorial service and what you think of the pending lawsuits that are coming. And Kobe Bryant's parents were there, but they were not acknowledged or recognized or asked to speak. As you know, he did not have a relationship with his parents at the time of his death. He didn't reconcile with them and the sisters, none of them. So it's a sad story. It's a sad ending. It's very tragic in all regards. But let me know what you think, and we'll talk more about it later. You can also check me out on my IG at pretty.conspiracy. And I'll have another video for you soon.